All right, I'm here. Got my juice shot, got my comfy clothes on, and this is another Monday Diaries. And just like every Monday, I sit down once a week to give a raw update on what I've been doing, both in life and in business. I recently moved, to Cape Town for a month. And right now I'm in like a co-living, co-working hub. I guess I'm just up before everyone else, so there's no one here. It looks like an old like cafe kind of vibe. And I also, a month and a half ago, launched a company called Art of Mondays, which is first of all a tribute to making Mondays the greatest day of the week, but essentially it is a private community for lifestyle founders to come together and build alongside each other and help each other in that process. So a lifestyle founder is really someone who cares about balance and uses business as a vehicle to attain a life that they want. They can go and live in Cape Town for a month if that's what they fancy. So a lot of our members do travel frequently and sort of care about that process of life and people and experiences. So as usual, I've got some notes here to keep me on track and make sure I don't miss anything, but this whole thing is going to be uncut and raw. Usually goes for 15 minutes. So do the dishes, sit down and do something else while you listen. Leave comments, ask questions. There's been some more engagement recently, which is really dope to see. And I'm all for sharing. You know, I really believe a rising tide lifts all ships. There was even a guy that reached out who's building a similar business, like a similar community, and he was asking for some advice and stuff. So happy to keep that going. So this is an interesting one. A reflection I had on, business and entrepreneurship is that great entrepreneurs typically are really good at gaming. I don't know if anyone else has seen this or heard this theory, but basically if they grew up as a kid playing games or even competitive sport, they become really good at the game of business because it is just a game. You gamify everything. And they're competitive or have a level of competitiveness. They're great at problem solving, they're quick thinking, and not to self-categorize me as a great entrepreneur, I think I have a lot to learn as well, but I had a few experiences when I was younger that really kind of set this in stone for me. I used to love Pokemon games on Game Boy SP and all the DS and all the old things, and so much so I would complete the game several times over. Like I would go through, I know the whole thing at that point, and I'll do it again, and I'd do it better, and I'd perfect my score or whatever it was at that point. And maybe it's like a slight obsession, and this is something I learned being in these co-working houses, is that all of these great founders, I'll tell you an example. I went to the other house I was living at. I met this guy called Stephen, and he had an old camera, so we were jamming out about that. And he was going to a market on Saturday morning, and he was like, "Oh, you want to come?" I was busy editing a YouTube video, so I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, I'll come with you." And we got chatting, and he was probably in his 30s, and he'd previously started a company called Wunderkind, Wunderkind, and it was like an email marketing platform and agency. And he's from New York. He grew that thing to like 900 people. He almost went public with it. He ended up selling majority share, and now he's building a SaaS company for to give banks more control over their data. But interesting guy, and what I found with him is much like a lot of these entrepreneurs, is that they have an obsession outside of their work. So I was talking to him about a founder house that we're running in Mallorca later this year. Unfortunately, that's booked out for any of you that wanted to join that, but we're going to Mallorca for 3 weeks, most of May this year, and we have like 10 founders that are coming along to that. And he was like, Mallorca. He's like, could I come? And I'm like, well, I mean, the house is booked out, but come and hang out if you want. And he's like, and then I was like, but we're also going to run another one, in this place. I won't spoil that yet because it's coming soon. And he goes, oh, no, that won't work. It has to be Mallorca. I was like, why does it have to be Mallorca? And he goes, well, Mallorca is known as one of the world's greatest spots for exposed water rock climbing. Like cliffs kind of hanging over the edge of the water, and you free climb rocks. I'm like, damn, that's so interesting. It was like he loved it. And he wasn't the only one. There was another guy that was in that house, and his room, he could see the mountains in the background. I should really put this up so you can see the mountains. And he would just, every day, go and check the view of the mountains because he was looking at the takeoff spot for the paragliding, and he was an avid paraglider. He would go every day for like an hour, 2 hours. He was also building a thing, very smart dude. And I realized that often high achievers in business are high achievers in other areas of their life. My uncle is another great example. And so I sort of look back, where was I a high achiever, or at least attempted to be? It was often in gaming. It was in sport. I played a lot of sport growing up and always wanted to excel in that. And academics too, to an extent. But in gaming in particular, I talked about Pokemon, but there was another game called Clash of Clans. It still exists. Some of you guys probably play it. And that game really, my brothers played it, and they'd been playing it for 6 months, and they're like, oh, this cool new game, everyone at school plays it. I'm like, okay, bet. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to be better than you in like 3 months. And I just became obsessed with it, and I didn't really spend much money on it or anything. I just put the hours in and, relatively speaking, became the best at this game. And when I say that, I mean like I obsessed over it for like 3 years, and I used to go to friends' sleepovers and be like loading up, my army and going to clan wars and all the rest, which in hindsight, I probably should be more present with my friends. But, it's that micro obsession for something. And there was another game I played called Tory Bash. We used to have a school MacBook, much shittier than this, but we'd download games on it. And there's a game called Tory Bash, which is like you're an avatar. It's like an animated game, and you're like frozen. It's like a wrestling game with other people. You play live with them, and the game pauses, and you like contract an elbow and extend a knee, and then it unfreezes and it moves for a second, and then it freezes again, and then you choose what to do next. And you basically wrestle live with these other people to tap them out or get them out of the ring or whatever. I don't know if I explained that very well, but there was many different game modes, and I remember finding certain game modes that I knew I could win almost every time. I took the chance out of it. I basically had systems where it was like this pendulum swinging, and if you get hit by the pendulum, you're basically dead. So all these noobs would come in and get smacked by it, and I just knew ways to climb out of the way. Anyway, out of 500,000 people that played the game, I became number 3, so top 5, and my username was XXTwat, XX. Don't ask me why. I don't even know where the fuck I got that, but I thought it was cool at the time. And anyway, and so like weird obsessions like that I think, like I said, allow you to problem solve. You're very curious, you think very strategically, and so that carries on later in life. And I just thought it was an interesting thing to start with because I've noticed this obsession and also a lot of people who play games back in the day. So if that was you growing up and your parents, told you to stop playing games or wanted you to get outside, I say, I think there's a point where you make the switch and then you go on and apply that to real world, but I say it's a good thing. So tell your parents I said it's all right. But anyway, it kind of ties into even how I'm building Art of Mondays, which is our strategy is insanely simple. Step 1 is put out regular content to get eyeballs, basically. That's the organic marketing. Step 2 is create a product so good that people talk about it and attract more members to it. So product-led growth, essentially. And all I'm thinking about every day is those 2 things. If you stay at the end of the video, I'll break down my stats. I started posting daily reels again. I sort of optimized profile a bit and had a link in bio so people can actually apply for membership. Moving out of stealth mode, basically, which is nice, and so I'll break that down at the end. But going forwards, a little update on my life. I don't know why I just opened this. Obviously, I'm in Cape Town right now. I had the greatest experience ever flying to Cape Town, probably the best. Like I was flying 24 hours, but it was the best time ever. I had 4 seats empty, and I could sleep. My feet were touching one end, and my head was touching the other end, but I had the whole aisle, which is unheard of. Anyway, I landed, stayed with a friend, Sav, and her family. They had like a spare room. They let me crash for a night before I had my place. And it was fun, to be honest. They're in a great spot in Camps Bay. Her brother Baron, I think he's probably watching this as well. He reminds me a lot of my brothers who probably don't care about anything but just like business and ideas. And he's 17 and his YouTube is just all success and business and like all of these recommended videos, which is probably a sign of that gamification of life that I was talking about earlier. But where am I? Yeah, we got up the next morning, went for a dip in the ocean, morning dip. We played volleyball, that arvo. That's something I've been hanging out to do for a very long time. That's a sport that I love. And friends who volley is such a vibe down there. I probably have some clips overlaying right now or whatnot. But that was my first kind of couple of days in Cape Town. And since then, I've been in these co-living houses, pretty much grinding most of the time, like head down. I'm trying to exercise and train or play some sort of sport, but then really solid work time and strategic thinking around what we're doing. And obviously just meeting other interesting people. I'm about to catch up with I did catch up with him, but it's going to be in the next video. The owner of Neighbourgood, which is these co-living houses that I'm staying in. Really cool guy. We jammed out for a while about some stuff. Who knows, there might be a partnership opportunity with Art of Mondays down the line. So stay tuned for that. But this place gives me a real WeWork energy. I don't know if anyone's watched the We Crashed on Netflix or something, but it's the story of WeWork and how they grew and then crashed. But we're in that growing phase, and the culture they had was really cool and young and fresh and energetic. So that's how I feel about this place. Give me one sec, just going to check the camera's still recording, as always. Yeah, we're good. What else? I guess the last piece, to give you an update on Art of Mondays, I've kind of been jumping between things this episode, but maybe a challenge that we've had is the honest answer is customer acquisition, like acquiring more members. And the reason for it is kind of twofold. One, we're still in that stealth mode, starting to feed it out into the world. So not everyone knows about what we're doing yet. So it still kind of relies on me showing up and manually touching base with people and manually messaging. And as soon as I'm not doing that, which I haven't been as much recently, lead generation dries up essentially. So, when we launched, it worked because I'd spent a few months drumming up interest and just like organically having conversations. And then my focus shifts into the product and making that better and bringing on a partner and those sorts of things. So, and creating content. So the lead gen dries up a bit. So that's been like transparently a challenge. And here's what I'm doing to fix that. I spoke last week about my intentions with Cape Town. I want to explore some partnerships with people. I want to, of course, work out ways to acquire members while we're here, the people I'm meeting, etc. And just like create great content as well, which is part of our strategy. So doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on that is going to make really big waves for us. And I'll give you some data. So basically, since I got here, I started posting again daily on Instagram and TikTok mostly, some YouTube, weekly on YouTube obviously, but some YouTube shorts too. Instagram's the main one. That's where the main traction is currently. But previously it has been TikTok. And really, I've probably only posted 4 or 5 times at this point, but I'm just shy of about 1 million views on Instagram. And I updated a link in bio to kind of share a bit more. Basically, it just links to YouTube and to the Art of Mondays deck. We don't have a website yet. So we had 200 clicks onto that. About half of those clicks then click through to YouTube or the deck. And it was pretty 50-50 split. So 50 on the YouTube, 50 on the deck. So that's the hard math when you put it down to that. We had a couple of applications from the deck and one interview booked for the coming week, but I'll follow up and check in with the others who booked as well. And then obviously there's a number of people that started the application but didn't quite finish it because it is extensive. Like the idea is that it is refining, and putting people off applying unless it really is aligned. So I think there's this idea around getting more no's, like if in sales, if you know the math and 1 in 5 people, even 1 in 10 people are aligned and become a customer, then you're literally counting the no's. Like you want to get more no's because then it leads to the yes. And that reframe was so interesting for me because so many people think of it the other way. They think, I need to get as many yeses as possible. If I'm not getting yeses, I'm failing. So for me, I'm like, bring on the no's. Like, like let's get more and more and more and more and more people that we say no, 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 no to, or they say no if they are a fit and don't want to pay the fee. But because that just leads us closer to who we want to be working with. So that's the hard update. I'm going to do that. I guess it's a nice segment to do every week and talk about how many views I'm getting on social and content, how many clicks that converted to, and then how many people actually came on board. The other thing I'm doing is building it. Well, to be honest, I've got so many content strategies that I want to execute that I can't talk about because if I do, people are going to steal the ideas, and they're like mega viral ideas, which I say, in not hindsight, whatever the opposite of hindsight is, but I know they will work. I just need the resources to execute them. So that's coming, but for now, it's just my personal brand reels that I'm putting out. And yeah, man, this is part of the process. This is the messiness that we get. It's whatever it is, 7 a.m. in the morning right now, and I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you guys. And I would have liked to have done this on Monday so that I can recap the previous week, but we're here now on Friday, so a bit late in the week. But yeah, let's keep it going. I hope you guys start fucking with Mondays too, and subscribe on YouTube if you want to follow along with the journey. Thanks so much.